SpaceX SECRET. Elon Musk space company is suing the U.S. government, but won't reveal the reason. This is very serious stuff. Tom Fish, Express UK reports SpaceX is suing the U.S. federal government again, but the Elon Musk-owned space company has ruled out revealing the reasons. I suppose they do have a confidentiality agreement, but I would also assume that they would have to tell him whatever they know concerning the astronomy, the Earth environment, anything having to do with radiation belts, and also to supply him with every and all material that they have concerning past moon and space missions so that he has them under his belt. Now, SpaceX has revolutionized the business of building rockets in less than 2 decades, and since 2002, SpaceX's reusable rocket technology has become the backbone of NASA's space program. However, despite SpaceX's notable successes, the hyper-competitive space industry repeatedly led to friction between Elon Musk's company and the U.S. government. SpaceX wants its latest protest against the U.S. federal government to remain under wraps. That means its allegations will not become public. In the motion filed in the Court of Federal Claims late last week, SpaceX said the privacy was necessary because the suit contains, quote, confidential and priority information and source selection information not appropriate for release to the public. So, in other words, they're saying it's classified. SpaceX also filed its complaint against the government with multiple exhibits attached under seal. Can you imagine? Whether the complaint and other documents remain under seal will be decided by the court. Now, the Court of Federal Claims hears petitions against the federal government, including contract claims and bid protests. It's not clear from the filing what government procurement program the company is gearing up to challenge, but it arrives as the U.S. Air Force is preparing to award lucrative launch contracts worth billions of dollars. SpaceX last year lost out on an initial round of funding the Air Force awarded to help companies develop their rockets to meet the strict requirements of launching national security satellites. Maybe that has to do with it. SpaceX founder Elon Musk revealed his company submitted a bid for that contract, but his proposal missed the mark, quote unquote, according to a Pentagon review. Now, SpaceX lost out on the funding. While he did that, 3 of its competitors, the United Launch Alliance, Northrop Grumman, and Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin, shared more than $2 billion for their rockets. The Air Force is expected to pick 2 companies next year that would split Pentagon launches. And this procurement has already triggered a political battle in Washington, as you can imagine. It's a fierce battle, it's obvious, I can imagine. Since it's lost on the early round of funding, SpaceX has been concerned it would be at a disadvantage when it comes time to choose the 2 providers. Now, the Blue Origin, business of Blue Origin, meanwhile, has been lobbying the Pentagon and members of Congress to slow down the procurement since its rocket won't be ready to fly by next year. SpaceX has previously sued the government over procurement several times. In 2014, SpaceX sued the Air Force over the last round of military launch contracts, arguing it should be allowed to compete against United Launch Alliance that held a monopoly on the contracts for a decade. And eventually, the Air Force and SpaceX settled the case, and SpaceX has since won several lucrative contracts, including ones with U.S. space agency NASA, as we know. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.